For me, the most interesting thing about Wake Up Dead Man is that the most important plot twist of the film was not even mentioned throughout the entire film. Now, this is a spoiler alert if you've not watched the film. Throughout the film, we kept hearing about Jefferson Wicks' father, who they said was a drifter, and Grace the harlot whore had a child out of wedlock. It was mentioned over and over and over again. I believed it until towards the end, Benoit Blanc said something which it might be a mistake, but Benoit Blanc would not make that kind of mistake, right? Now listen to this.
Laid to rest in the sealed tomb of his father.
He said he was buried with his father. Now, Jefferson Wicks was buried with Prentice, who is not his father, is his grandfather. Again, we might argue that Blanc was actually referring to God. Why would he say Wicks was buried with God? And if you look again at the subtitles, I'm a Catholic, and Catholics, we use the capital letter F when we're referring to God the Father. Or you see this intentional small letter F. Now, let's talk about Grace, the harlot whore, and her crashout. This one is my opinion, right? Prentice promised her his entire fortune on the condition that she would stay at home and raise young Jefferson. Now Prentice dies and she realizes every single thing he promised her was not there. He had either gifted the whole thing away or hidden it somewhere. That crash out, in my opinion, didn't look like a crash out of someone who was just promised something and then, it wasn't delivered. It felt deeper. It felt more like a betrayal, and you could feel it. I could feel it. I could feel that it was deeper than her not getting what was promised her. And there was a flashback scene where Prentice looked towards her in disgust, and at first I thought the disgust was directed at her for having disgraced the family. He's a priest. She had a child out of wedlock. But on second viewing, the look or the disgust felt like it was more directed towards him. So he was more disgusted at himself for actually having given into that temptation. Now let's talk about Martha. She most likely didn't know what happened, but this scene where she's about to die and she says this.
Grace. I see it now. That poor girl. Forgive me, Grace.
In this scene, she realizes that Grace was actually a victim, not just of manipulation, but something deeper. Grace was sexually assaulted by her father, Prentice, and this sexual assault led to them having a child, Jefferson. So in that final monologue, when Blanc said Jefferson Wicks was buried with his father, he didn't mean his father as in God, but his father as in his grandfather, Prentice. This is smart writing.